Hi everyone, today I'm going to talk about relationship related problems that this lady is explaining in this video. I've watched many other videos in this social media page about people who have had heartbreaks in their life, seem sad in their life. I've also watched other social media bloggers who go and ask couples what are the secret to their happiness, and many other dating site or dating tips related videos as well, because different bloggers are doing this related to dating or relationship experiences. Why? Because this is a core human need that all of us as humans have, which is that it is a core human need to have a deep meaningful connection in our life. And when I heard this lady's video, she resonates 100% with me because I am exactly like her. I have also had multiple phases of my life where I haven't really had anyone with a deep meaningful connection existing or coexisting with me in my daily life. I've had actually years of silence filled life as well. And even though if you look at my social media pictures, you might think, seeing me on Facebook or on Instagram, that I am a very sociable person. But while I am indeed a sociable person and I love talking with people and I love connecting with people, I didn't have, like her, I had the same life problem of not having deeper relationships in my life. And what was her problem that she described in this video is that her parents didn't have good happy marriages. She has also got friends and other relatives with whom she has seen there are so many people who are not happy with their marriages or happy in their life. So what she has concluded in this video is that she's likely going to be alone, and she likely feels that the best case scenario might be, or the worst case is, you have to find happiness within yourself. But this is where I want to talk to people about understanding this about dating, about love. There are certain things I want people to understand a little bit more deeply about dating, about love, about happiness, and about compatible and meaningful relationships. And that is the reason why I'm making this video, which is that even if we think or get bogged down by this idea that because of a certain age that we have reached, we might be in our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and even if we perceive that there is no one in our life that has formed a deep meaningful connection with us, and we haven't been able to form that deep meaningful connection with another human being, it is a false paradigm to think that that deep meaningful connection will not exist for us. It simply means that right at this point of time in your life, you don't have that deep meaningful relationship. So for example, I'm in my 40s, and when I was in my 20s, because I was from an Indian background, in my family life, technically everyone from my father's side of the family, they all got married before they even hit their 20s. Most girls get married in my father's generation before they hit their 20s. Then in my mother's generation, in my mother's family, they did have family members who got married by at least their early 20s. And then in my own friends generation, from my cousins who were a few years older to me, to cousins who were a few years younger to me, they have all, most of them got married by their mid to late 20s. So I was already a very social misfit in my family, because I didn't get married in my 20s. I'll also like to clarify that there is a bit of history about my past life that I don't remember. I feel I was in an accident and no one explained to me what happened when I went through that accident. So there is a brief chance that I was indeed married in my 20s, but I don't remember it. And so in my conscious memory, I have not been married in my 20s. So I had a dating life in my 20s when I went to US, and I was living in US. I lived in US in my 20s and 30s, and in my mid 30s I came back to India. And in all these experiences, I was also like her, thinking the same thing, that initially in my 20s I thought maybe because my parents didn't have a good relationship. Like her, I also had parental life where they didn't have good relationship. In my family life, very few role models were there who seemed to have good family relationship. In my friends' lives also, many of my friends' parents did seem to have much more stable relationships, but in my closer family I didn't see that stability or depth of love in the partnerships that I saw in my life. And so like her, I was also feeling the pressure, or there's a cloud that stays in your mind or in your energy, that makes you feel that because you haven't seen healthy relationships in your life, that is what is the pattern you will also repeat in your life. So I felt exactly whatever she said in that video. There is a point of time in my life, or there are multiple points of time in my life, I have felt like that, what she presented in the video. And part of it, even now, sometimes there are days when I feel like that, but there are much more other days that I feel opposite of this. And how I came to start feeling the opposite of what she's feeling, and what I want to discuss in this video, is basically what I experienced as a person who went through her journey and then realized that what I'm feeling about not being able to have a good life, or thinking that I'm meant to be just a single person, is actually a false paradigm. But it can only be actually proven to be a false paradigm when I do indeed end up taking measures to not continue the same patterns that are keeping me and other people stuck in bad relationships, and which is what my 40 years of life journey and 24 years of life journey as an independent adult has been. So I started becoming kind of like an independent adult in my 20s when my mom died. And because my mom died, one major influence of a adult in your life goes away, so you naturally start maturing from that age. And even before I hit my 20, before my mom died, she was very sick for a while, so that also ended up maturing me about things related to what is needed to be compatible in life with someone. And it also kept me in, because I was in a little bit of a survival mode at that time when she was sick. It also kept me a little bit away from all the things teenagers explore, people in their 20s explore, that can be the reasons why we actually do not end up with deep meaningful relationships. So what are the things that teenagers explore? If you watched Friends in American life, Friends portrays this image that you have to date, you have to get married by a certain age, you have to look hot in order to, a woman has to look hotter to attract men, man has to seem wittier to attract women, or a man has to be sincere and sweet like Joey and Ross in order to attract women. And so women and men typically think that these are the kind of women and men who deserve to be married. And the only person who didn't fit this American norm of what kind of men and women should date or are considered as ideal partners was, they all had actually their individual quirks, but the one who was the quirkiest was whom? The one who was the quirkiest was Phoebe, because she wasn't a middle class family raised person. She had seen a lot of street life and homelessness related life and grief and pain in her life, which came up as a joke in the series, but all of which was determining also her life path journey, that she also came from a broken home. And is it not true that each of them came from a broken home? Yes, all of them actually came from a broken home, but their kind of broken home was different. Phoebe's broken home was related to poverty, related to parent committing suicide, related to parents getting divorced, related to no adult supervision in her life. Whereas Monica and Ross's upbringing was related to what? Their related parental issues or broken life came from one child being supported a lot by the parents and the other child being ignored a lot by the parents, which actually is the reason why Monica is in a particular personality type and Ross develops into a particular personality type, because there's no one to challenge Ross when he is doing anything wrong, or majority of the time in his life he has not been challenged. He's always been seen as the good guy. And while Ross is a good guy in many aspects, if you see the progress of the show in Friends, he actually isn't really a good life partner, though he tries to be a good life partner. Though in the beginning years when he was married to his first wife, he was the ideal partner. When he initially started dating Rachel, he was an ideal partner, but eventually he transitioned from an ideal partner towards toxic patterns, because there's no one to check him. And even though Rachel wanted to check him, he wasn't ready to admit that he's doing anything wrong. So he broke away from the relationship that could have taken him into a better way of living, right? So he also came from a broken life. Rachel also came from a broken life. Her broken life was related to the brokenness that happens to someone when you are living a privileged life, when you have access to a lot of money, but you don't again have the deeper love. And so watching even Friends, we can all, Chandler also had a broken life, Joey's family also, until the end of the story we thought Joey's family at least had good life, but again it turned out his father was cheating on his mother and she compromised with it. So there are all these different things that the show showed us, how brokenness can develop in our lives. Some brokenness that develops sooner in life, some brokenness that develops later in life, all of which ends up making us feel broken, making us feel isolated, making us feel unhappy. But in Friends, at least they try to show in the end that if you have good friendships, you can still have a meaningful life. They try to show that in friendship circles also you can find someone to date with whom you can end up having a meaningful life. They also showed like with Phoebe, that even if you had a broken childhood, you are still capable of having a good life in the future. But they didn't delve into it too deeply, because many movies and shows only show us the part of life where you meet someone, you date someone, except for like the Ross Rachel relationship. Most of the other, and a little bit of Chandler Monica relationship, most of the other relationships were only shown at a very superficial level in the show, where you are only dating someone, being attracted to someone, and then the rest of the story doesn't unfold. Even if marriage was shown, the rest of the things that will cause a marriage to make or break, that wasn't shown for most of the other people, right? So this is where we all go wrong. And because while Friends is something which is an American show, it is also showing something that actually exists in other countries and cultures too. Not as obvious or blatant as in Friends, but subtle elements of what is there in Friends is also present actually in a Indian family's life as well. Only difference might be that, like how Joey's parents never divorced, that is going to be the majority, while all the other parents of all the other kids, they either divorced, they either died, they committed suicide as a result of broken relationships and other factors. While all these was going on in Friends, someone also changed their gender, all these things were happening in Friends. The same things can happen even in an Indian community or Indian society in India. It's just that it will not be as open, as blatant. So there could be someone who wants to be a transgender, but they will do it in a hidden way because it's not accepted so much in Indian society. There could be someone who is in an unhappy marriage like Ross's parents, but they will not separate. They will, and most Indian marriages are marriages like Ross's parents or marriages like Joey's parents, where they are married to each other. They do not actually love each other also at a greater or deeper level, but they just continue in the marriage because that's what they have done. They know each other, and that's why that marriage continues. So when you have seen life like that, you will naturally tend to conclude that we are meant to be unhappy, or we are at best meant to be happy with only ourselves. We can't expect happiness from our partner. And this is what most of modern society is tending towards in recent years. And that's why either people are in long-term marriages but unhappy marriages, or people get into marriage then decide to divorce and get into multiple cycles of divorce with multiple partners, or people go into deviating from the normal marriage patterns also into exploring their sexuality, sensuality, and all these things are cropping up in our modern lives. But why? Or there is going to be people like that girl and me, who, or other single people who think that we will never find a right partner for ourselves because someone broke our heart, or even after someone breaking our heart, whoever was the next partner, even if they are a misfit partner, many people end up staying with that second partner simply because they don't want to go through this fight of again going through searching for another partner. Because in Indian marriages I've seen these kind of partnerships too, where people might have dated someone in their college life, it didn't work out for them, then in their 20s or 30s in their office life they found someone and then they dated them and then decided to marry them. And even before marriage, after marriage, even though there were red flags in the marriage that this is not a compatible relationship, people still continued with the incompatible relationship simply because they found someone, they want to just continue with it. They do not want to invest too much time, they do not want to get the shame of having broken relationships, they do not want to feel inadequate about their life because they had broken relationships. But this is where people need to shift our mindset now in this modern world, that there's nothing wrong with broken relationships. In fact, those broken relationships are breaking away because they are giving you a picture of what is it you need to have in your life to have a deeper relationship. And if you do not admit that, let's say you have a partner who is you dated someone, and in giving example of friends only, Joey is a very flirty kind of a personality in Friends, and you will see by the end of Friends he didn't get a partnership. Why? Because he was constantly just flirting with women and only dating them at a very superficial level, sleeping with their level. And if genetically you want to look at it, it is a pattern his dad was also following. But simply the difference between Joey and his dad is Joey's dad got married, and after getting married he's continuing good to take care of his wife and his kids, but he is also not ready to stop his flirting with other women and dating of other women. That's why he is having affair. Now whether he's having an affair with one woman or multiple women, the hurt that is he's causing his wife is the same level hurt. It wouldn't matter if he dated one woman or 100 women. But the wife is compromised with it because she knows that why did Joey's mom compromise in that relationship? She compromised because Joey has like 7 sisters, so she has so many dependents. If she gets divorced, who is going to take care of those children? So for her, the compromise was her children's life was more important to her. Her children having a home where the father is paying for everything related to their life was more important. That's why she compromised. But let's say there was another woman who like Rachel's mother divorced from her father. Why? Because they were richer, because also Rachel's mother had only 3 daughters, so she didn't have that many dependents. All the dependents were financially caretaken by the husband. That's why it was easier for them to break apart their bond. But were both Rachel's parents' relationship and Joey's parents' relationships toxic? They were toxic. It's just one couple financially couldn't separate, the other couple financially had that comfort to now separate. So that is what financial access gives you in your life, the capacity to, at least if you have financial independence and financial access, you know you can take care of yourself. You know if you have dependents, you can take care of your kids. Whereas the couple which will not be able to take care of their dependents if they separate, who will not be having a more balanced life if they separate, those couples then do not tend to separate. And sometimes that lack of balanced life can happen because if divorce does indeed happen, if you live in ultra conservative cultures and societies, so social shame will be high. The impact on the children's future prospects of marriage might be high, all of which also causes in Indian cultures for people to not separate out from a toxic marriage, or prevents them from separating out, thinking maybe the children's mental health might be impacted. So there are couples I have seen who didn't separate until the child had reached 18 years of age, or if the child had reached a maturity related age, where then the parents officially got divorced. But until then, if the marriage was really broken down, there were marriages where I have seen people separate from their marriage and live separate lives for until their divorce. That has also happened for many people. So everyone goes through life compromising with the unhappiness you experience in your relationships, not understanding that there are many elements to that unhappiness that you are experiencing in your relationship, and also not understanding what you deserve as a loving relationship in your life, and also not realizing what you need to yourself do in your life in order to attract a deserving relationship in your life as well. And which is where many of these other places where we keep failing, and when we are failing at these places, or failing to discern and understand and comprehend what are the deeper elements we have to dig into about relationships, that is when we end up becoming lonelier, or there are certain people who have chosen that path of loneliness only in order to cultivate that discernment. Because this girl, she doesn't understand this, and this is something I didn't understand until my 40s. The fact that the reason why I have had a life where not many deep meaningful connections are present in my life is because in the opposite of lack of depth in my relationships is the place where I am able to, and the more I face those challenges where lack of depth was there in multiple elements from multiple people in multiple kinds of relationships, I eventually understood what is the depth I am searching for. So each failed relationship was actually the stepping stone towards the success of understanding what it is that a successful relationship now needs from me, as well as from a partner I would like to date. And in that only analysis, only in my 20s, I thought what is needed from me is I need to look hot by watching all these movies, by also observing that all my friends who were thinner than me, more beautiful than me, more cuter than me, more charming than me, more sociable than me, they all got married sooner than later in life. Why? Because their charm attracted someone, someone's sense of humor attracted someone, someone's beauty attracted someone, someone's way in which they style themselves attracted someone, someone who was very slim and trim, their health status attracted someone. So like that, different people attracted different partners based on all these criteria. So I also decided, looking at these criteria, what is the factor that I can change about myself? I can change that. And I had also observed that if you are a fatter girl, darker girls, girl with skin anomalies, all of those are factors that will not cause you to get chosen first in any relationship. So when I understood that aspect about relationships, I decided, okay, at least let's change the body shape. I can't do anything about patches on my skin. I cannot do anything about my skin color, but I can take better care about my skin to ensure that at least I have a healthier skin. So I started doing that. I started doing healthier skin care taking. I had a very sensitive skin, so I would get allergies and pimples also when I was younger in my 20s. So I tried to take care of those health issues. And secondly, I also tried, I started going to the gym to become slimmer in life, right? But then after I got slim in my early 30s, late 20s, I was in a much more slimmer size. I was a size 6 or size 8, and at that time, even though I was a US size 6, size 8, at that time, even though I looked really hot and I did attract men also, more men were attracted to me at that time, and I could tell that men are getting attracted to me. Again, my relationships in those time points didn't materialize into something deeper. Why? Because while I had changed externally, internally there were still these emotional wounds. The wounds that this girl also feels, the wounds related to her family life not being good. And if you are dating someone, and if that guy is not dating you for a serious relationship, or he doesn't have the depth to want to connect with you in a deep meaningful manner, because guys being guys, most guys when they start dating someone, they will either date you for using you, they might date you for because you showed interest in them, they might date you because they do find you attractive. But if beyond this something is not there in their interest about you, like if they don't find you intriguing, if they don't like you for who you are, if they just simply were dating you because you were available and you were interested in dating them, they would just use you as a dating perspective, like for going out for dates, like going out into a music bar, or taking you to for dining purposes, or they, if they have hobbies, going for some hobby related activities with your partner. So they are essentially using you as a testing partner, they are not actually seriously interested in you. And this thing I didn't realize that. Why didn't I realize it sooner? Because when you were not hotter in your 20s, are you going to realize it in your 20s that this is the pattern that guys have? Or even if you were indeed hotter in your 20s, but if you married the first guy who said I love you to you, and you were in love with them, and it worked out for you, then great. But what usually tends to happen is, even if you know, when you are actually looking very beautiful, and there are 10 people who might be interested in you because you look beautiful, or you're witty, or you're charming, or you're all three, whatever it is. Let's say you are a very popular girl and there are many guys who are interested in you, but even if there were 10 guys who are interested in you, the one who actually shows interest in you, who takes the time to invest in you, who talks with you, shares some parts of your life journey with you, takes you out on dates, or at least tries to become your friend first, that guy only has the better access to you. The other guys don't have that access, even if they might be interested in you. And at that time, if you are a very if someone is very beautiful, they can tend to be very selfish or narcissistic also, because they are always attracting attention from other people. So when you are attracting attention from other people, you will not observe the people who might be interested in you, but who will not be overtly falling on you to attract your attention. Because if I am a girl and I look at a boy who is very popular, and there are 10 women I can see who is interested in that boy, if that boy is not showing any interest towards me, and he's a very popular boy, and I can see there are 10 other women interested in him, should I pursue that guy and waste my time? When will I pursue that guy and waste my time? If I am very deeply interested in him, if I am very deeply sexually attracted to him, if I am very much in my ego, and if I somehow got convinced that this is the guy that I should date. And all of these phases I have faced in my life in some way or the other with some very good looking guys. So the first guy that I dated, I was very much interested in him, and I was like, there's no one else that I could even imagine my life with except him. At that point, there was a point of time when I used to feel like that, like he is the one who makes me feel a particular way that no one else has made me feel, so he must be the one I am so much in love with. Not knowing that while I am feeling like this about him, he was not feeling like that at all about me. He was in fact interested in other women around me. He was simply kind of using me as a way to make someone else jealous. All these things I didn't even realize and pick up, because he was kind of like my first love. And because he was my first, kind of meaning, I think in my conscious memory he's my first love, but there is a subconscious aspect of my personality that says that he may not be my first love. And that I had an accident in the past, and I don't remember that past first love. So let's assume he was my first love, and with that first love guy, I, being a 20-year-old, naive 20-year-old, at that time I had all the normal tendency of a 20-year-old who has never dated anyone, or and this was dating in US. Dating in India is slightly different from dating in US. So in US, I saw he was very physically interested in me, but that is where I found that relationship to be very disrespectful. That I could see he's not. Slowly, I was picking up these signs, and while it didn't click for me initially that he's really interested in someone else or he's trying to use me to get someone else's attention, all these things I figured out later on. But because I was easily available, because the other girl was not available, because he was sexually attracted to me, all these things kept the relationship going on and off for a while. But because he was not deeply in love with me, because he didn't feel emotionally the same level as me, because for him there were because he was much better looking than me, for him there were always interests from other women of any culture, and he looked very Caucasian. He had partly possibly Caucasian ancestry in his past, like in his ancestors someone might have been Caucasian. So he could easily pass as a American than an Indian. So because of which he had interest from Americans as well as Indians while in his 20s. And that is the natural tendency of anyone who's good looking. You will always attract a lot of women. And it doesn't matter if you're just good looking. Someone could be very good looking who may also attract many people. Someone could be very charming, may also attract many people. Someone who's witty may attract many people. Someone who loves to socialize with people will attract many people, because these are the normal standards of humans that people get attracted to, because they are attracting attention towards them, right? They are the center of attention in a group. If you're very attractive, if you simply walk down a street, there will be 10 if you're an attractive woman, multiple men and women will look at you. Same way, if you're an attractive man, multiple men and women will be looking at you, right? That is a normal tendency of human nature, that just your external beauty will shine so much that multiple people will look and observe you first. But does that mean that just because multiple people are observing you first, feeling attracted to you first, also means that they are all the right partner for you? No. And that is what the discernment related to someone who is beautiful looking is about. That even though you are beautiful looking, or if someone is very intelligent, whatever quality you have, each of us will have a range of qualities which actually make us attractive towards the opposite gender or the gender of our interest. So when we are attractive towards the opposite gender, at that time, if you are intellectual and beautiful, that could be someone's zone of finding you attractive. If you are intellectual and humorous, that could be someone else's zone. If you are intellectual and charming and have a good job, that could be someone else's zone. So like that, everyone has a different zone that makes them seem attractive to the opposite gender in some way or the other. But is attraction the only thing that determines who will approach you, who will marry you, who will say yes to marrying you? No. There are many women who may get attracted to a guy, but even if they are attracted to 10 guys, they will say yes only to that guy who she sees he's much more, like, if they are very practical oriented women, they are not working on relationships from their heart chakra, and they are more only logic driven, and they might be like that because maybe they saw a lot of suffering in their life. So that kind of a woman can tend to say yes to a man simply because a man approached her and is not hassling her in a way that she found other men to be hassling, or is got some social advantage, socioeconomic advantage, and she might say yes. And that man and I have seen some couples like that, where the man was very popular and the women, being popular, always women were hitting on him. So the woman who was not hitting on him too much but still showed interest in him is the one he ended up marrying. Why? Because he didn't like that being hit upon phase in his life, and because he didn't like that being hit upon phase in his life, he got frustrated with the women who got too much involved with him, who wanted more emotional involvement from him, who wanted a deeper connection from him, because he's popular, right? So when you're popular, you're not looking for depth in your relationship. When you're popular, you're looking for, if there are 10 women, who is the one I am, and you are a man, you are looking for who is the one whom I am most sexually attractive towards, and then you might sleep with them, and after sleeping with them, if it is working out for you, and there are other, if you are practical, again, that man was also not in his heart chakra, he was also very practical oriented. So for him, the practical oriented thing was, who is he sexually attracted to, whose life is compatible with his in financial and work related aspects, or socioeconomic status related aspects, and that is what determined him marrying a particular person. But they will end up with an unhappy marriage eventually if either one or both of them start awakening to the fact that they want a deeper heart chakra based connection, and if in their soul frequency they do not have the right frequency of match with each other, how much ever superficially on paper you can look very great to be the right partner for each other, it's in the daily life's grind you will understand that that was only a superficial paper match, it was a attraction based match possibly, but other than that there is no deep soul level match there. And which is what is kind of like the relationship that was possibly between Rachel's parents, that they might have had a socioeconomic match, they might have had a sexual match, and they got married, but afterwards, because they're deeper elements and they got married to each other for practical purposes and attraction based paradigm, but nothing else was present in their relationship to keep them engaged with each other. And now that both of them are very rich, if they are very ultra rich people, they also now have the luxury to spend quality time apart from each other. And when they are spending quality time apart from each other because of their riches, at that time they are also now then prone to stray away from each other, go and date other people, and then eventually the marriage will break off. And that is the one main reason why you will see ultra rich people or billionaires of the world, they are so easily able to discard one wife after the other continuously, because they are not looking for that deeper relationship, meaningful relationship, and whoever shows attraction to them, whoever strokes their ego, whoever is able to hold their interest by providing them sexually or otherwise whatever they need, those men will not stray, but otherwise they are straying. But does that mean they are good quality men, good quality partners, good quality lovers? Are they showing something good quality? They may have good quality about many things in life. They could be the smartest man, richest man, successfully admired by millions of people. Everything they will have in their life like that. But they are still in the eyes of God not the man who is doing the right thing. I'm not saying that they're doing everything wrong. We are all imperfect humans, so all of us are imperfectly doing many things in life. But in order to evolve in life, we have to first understand what is it that we are doing imperfectly in life. Then only we can evolve from that experience. If I am a multimillionaire of a country or a organization, and I, just because I am a millionaire and just because I have millions of fans or millions of employees who are praising me or flattering me all the time, or because there are millions of women who are interested in me just because I'm rich. I'm talking it from a perspective of a man, okay, not me personally, because I'm not rich. So I'm talking about a man who is ultra rich, and he's ultra rich, he has millions of women following him just because he is rich, showing interest on him. He has also got millions of employees who flatter him just because he gives them the paycheck, and like that you might be valuable to many human beings, right? That way you have created some value because of your riches. As a consequence of your riches, you have created a value in people's lives. But does that make you a quality human being? If you want to become a quality human being, is it your riches? If there are 3 ultra rich men in the world, the one who is a quality human being may be the one who might not never have married because he realized that he doesn't want to casually date people. There could be someone who could be ultra rich who married and was loyal to his partner, and that's why, and his kids, and he was a good family man, that's why he might be a good quality human. There could be another ultra rich person who has a lot of laurels, lot of women showing interest and dating interest and love interest and everything, but he never found happiness in his life. One example of such a man is who? Henry the Eighth, who was an ultra rich man of the many centuries back when he was king of England. But despite being the king of England, despite having so much riches, despite having so many women interested also in him, so many political families interested in him politically, he never found the true love, or even if he had some true loving experiences in some of his marriages, he never trusted those love based experiences. Why? Because if you're continuously cheating from or going from one partner to the other, or you're continuously surrounded by people who is only flattering you for what you can provide to them but are not looking at you at a humane level, all of these will determine your quality of life. So your quality of life was not good, the quality of life you spent with another human being was not good, because those deep level connection related circumstances you didn't allow to propagate in your life. So Henry the Eighth, if he really wanted true love, he had to focus and shift his direction away from what he was focusing on. Like if he was only focusing on making rare alliances, or only focusing on which woman looks the hottest to him at this point of time and that's why I'll marry her, or you're focusing on this other woman is poisoning me, and whatever he was going on, a lot of garbage was going on in his life, and garbage thoughts were going on, and true toxic relationship paradigms were going on in his life. And that same Henry VIII, now if he gets reborn again as another person who is also, who may not be a king now, but in his next life he may still be a very charming man and a man popular with the ladies and rich enough man, he will again go through that same life experience as a soul, because he didn't learn how to be a quality human based as a king also. So now maybe he may not be the king, but he might be a multimillionaire of a country, or he may not be multimillionaire of a country, he may be a top level executive in a company. Whatever he is, again he will have those chances of attracting multiple women, but which women he stays loyal to, is able to stay loyal to, or whatever his soul journey related life path plan was for his soul, if it manifests, then he has a quality life. So quality life is dependent on what? Quality life is dependent on your quality of interactions, and that quality of interactions is not dependent on your money or riches or your charm or your popularity or your qualities, intellectual skills. Quality of life is actually dependent on the emotional connections, spiritual connections, more spiritual and deep level things you have executed and done in your life with multiple people who you met in your life. And when that is missing, women like this exist who will be feeling, like me also exists, who will be feeling, what is the meaning of life? Am I meant to be alone in my life? Why am I not attracting quality experiences? Or you can start feeling, what is it about me that I'm not attracting quality experiences? Because and why is she feeling that, or why am I feeling that? We were feeling like that because we look ordinary, we are not rich enough, we are not ultra rich enough. So if we start comparing now, the reason why that unhappiness and sadness is happening in her and has happened to me as well is because we're comparing ourselves to the hottest girl in the class, or the 10 hotter, wittier, better looking women who have attracted men in their lives enough to have long-term marriages, but we have not attracted it. So that's why that comparison needs to go away. The moment you stop comparing yourself, which I started doing in slowly in my 30s, I stopped comparing myself to my friends who were married in their 20s. I'm like, I cannot compete with them, I cannot compare with them. they are already married, there was something, some spark was there in them that caused the spark to a spark of love or attraction or whatever was present, caused them to now get married, right? So if I start comparing myself to those women, I will naturally continue staying depressed and continue thinking that I don't deserve to be loved or I don't deserve a good quality marriage in the future. Then in my mid 30s, I did end up getting married, and that briefly, very briefly, made me feel validated that, oh, I'm deserving of marriage now. But that was a illusion again, because that marriage was completely incompatible. It was a marriage like how I talked about those rich people finding like this person is or that couple who saw very practical things about each other, and on paper they seemed like very perfect fit, and there was some physical attraction also. So that was present in my relationship. Initially there was minor physical attraction, there were some superficial compatibilities, and that's why it seemed like a perfect relationship, and the guy was ready to marry me. So for a woman, when a guy is ready to marry you, and if you have been a woman who has been searching for that love for a while, or a man who has been searching for that love for a while, it can seem like a very attractive prospect if you indeed one day find a partner who is ready to marry you without all the hassles that you have gone through in the past. So if other people have cheated on you, if other people were incompatible with you, if other people didn't even find you worthy enough to propose to you, and if other people whatever was happening in your past happened with you, and as a result your relationships had broken off in the past, at that time it can become like a false illusion of relief, thinking that this person is validating you simply because he's saying yes to marrying you without that long painful 1 year of courtship or 2-3 years of dating or on and off dating of many years. So you might think, oh, this is the right partner, and of course attraction was there, superficially things were seeming like a match, you say yes, which is what happened to me. And this is where I will suggest any girl who or guy in their 30s, 40s, 50s going through this experience, please pause yourself. Do not say yes to anyone simply because they are the only one proposing to you, because I made the biggest mistake of my life doing that. And that biggest mistake happened because I was feeling like this girl in this lowest phase of my life, that even though I had multiple degrees, even though I was financially secure, even though at that time I was very financially secure, even though at that time I was feeling good about my body, feeling good about my health, there were so many things I was feeling good about my life. I was also feeling insecure about the fact that I'll have a lonely life. I was very, very lonely. I was going through phases where I had no human connection to connect to for at a deeper level. The person I dated before this person I married was a person who was very fun as a dater. So he had the funnest dates, like all my top 5-10 dates can be attributed to that guy. But though my top dates can be attributed to that guy, there was no deep level relationship at all. He never asked me about my family life, he never wanted to know what is going on with my family life, he never wanted to know about me at an individual level, at a personal level. So I had that phase of loneliness going on. So this guy seemed like a perfect fit. Like, he also, actually the one I married, he was also never doing anything extra than any of the other guys I married previously. In fact, this guy was doing much less efforts than the previous guys. So despite that, I ended up saying yes to marrying him. Why? Because even though he was putting less efforts, where he put the major effort was in proposing, and which seemed to me like a great thing at that time, because I was feeling so insecure, so lonely, feeling that no one is considering me deserving of marriage. So which led to that marriage, which leads to even worse marriage conditions to exist between people. And if you are sensitive to wanting, if your soul is craving for that deep relationship, meaningful relationship, love filled relationship, compatibility filled relationship, cohesiveness building relationship, evolving relationship. If you are craving for that, whereas your partner is not craving for that or wanting to build towards that, you will have a marriage that will end up in a disaster, and which is what happened with me. My marriage ended within, I didn't even we were living already in two different states at that time of US. We hardly met each other 5-6 times. In that 5-6 times also, no meaningful connection I was able to build with that person. And if I try to explain what the problems are, he was very egotistical, or very he was like the Ross like guy who, because his parents consider him to be a epitome, or for his family he is considered to be a very valuable human being who doesn't do any wrong. Many men have this problem, like when they are raised in families where their families think that the boy can do no wrong, the man is incapable of wanting to address what is it about his life problems or his attitude and patterns in life that he has to shift in order to become a compatible loving partner towards another. You'll see in Ross Rachel relationship also, actually speaking, I didn't like the ending of Friends, that's why, and I found the ending of Ross Rachel ending up together as very artificial, because in the last 2 seasons they could have shown Ross and Rachel both change towards adapting towards each other's wants and needs and desires, and if they had shifted like that in the last 2 years, then they would have been the right relationship for each other. But unfortunately, that ending, just to create a happy ending, they created that ending. But realistically speaking, Ross and Rachel were not moving closer towards each other. The problems that existed in their relationship before Emma was born, before they had broken up also, all those problems were never resolved between them. So again, these Ross and Rachel, even though in Friends it seems like we want Ross and Rachel to have a happy life, ideally speaking, a couple like Ross and Rachel cannot have a happy life if they didn't evolve towards loving each other at a deeper level, which Monica and Chandler were slowly evolving into loving each other at a deeper level, accepting each other at a deeper level, being more meaningfully involved in each other's troubles and accepting of each other's troubles. This is where Monica and Chandler ended up becoming better compatible partners, right? Which is what evolving in a relationship is about. You start, you first fall, your attraction is the first level you get connected to someone. Practicality might be the second level, or practicality of convenience of them being roommates with you or being your neighbors might be the, or your friends might be the reason why, or a colleague is the reason why you're dating them. But after that, what is truly going to develop your relationship into a deeper level, long-term meaningful relationship is, are you compatible with each other? Do you understand each other's love language? Are you able to handle each other's craziness? Are you able to handle the rough patches of your life with each other? Are you looking towards handling it together as a couple, or are you just looking towards just doing your own thing? And this is where, why was Monica able to guide Chandler into all these things, is because Monica's parents were never involved in her life, right? So Monica had this experience of always trying to figure things out on her own, and Chandler also had that experience of always trying to figure things out on his own, because his parents were also very fractured. So as a result, they both had the capacity to figure things out on their own, and now they also got the help from a partner who is ready to help them figure things out about their marriage with each other. So Chandler was helping Monica figure certain things out. Monica was helping Chandler figure certain things out, which both of them now, when earlier they were single, they had to do everything for themselves. But when they are a couple, now they are leaning into each other and doing things for each other as a couple, which is where a evolved relationship truly happens. And now if couples are able to do that with each other, evolve with each other, because troubles in life doesn't go away when we lead a life on earth. Some troubles in fact are needed for us to keep ourselves engaged in life, otherwise we'll have a very boring life, or we will have a life where you will see also the rich people, they don't have the financial troubles. Because they don't have the financial troubles, it's very easy for them to, they are very comfortable and luxurious living, and they want that comfort and luxury constantly in their relationship with the partner. But this is another aspect, that you cannot have constant comfort in a relationship with a partner. Your partner will ask you to go out of your comfort zone sometime or the other. Like if Chandler held the expectation that he will only have a woman as a partner who gives him his biological baby, would he ever have been the right partner with Monica? Or if Monica had that expectation that he wants someone who is flirty like Joey, or something else like Ross, or whoever were her exes, like Tom Selleck's character, he was super successful and rich and all that, and if she kept her standards like that, that it has to be a super successful and rich person only. Whereas you will see that Chandler changes jobs, and Chandler has some job related issues also crop up eventually, monetary issues also crop up, like not major monetary issues, but in a future life of Chandler and Monica, it is also possible that after 10 years of their marriage, one of them or both of them can also go through a job loss. And at that time, again, how they adjust to the life with each other determines whether they will be good couple and are compatible couple and are evolving with each other in the relationship. And that's when happiness in the marriage stays. The happiness stays not because you avoid the trouble zones. That is not a happy marriage. Joey's mom was avoiding the trouble zones, so that's why it was not a happy marriage. Rachel's parents didn't even want to deal with the unhappy zone, so they just left. And Ross's parents, even though they have uncomfortable zones, they do know how to work through it. They were not entirely unhappy with each other. They were possibly occasionally unhappy with each other, but that occasional unhappiness doesn't mean that their relationship wasn't a good marriage. They had likely a better marriage. That's why only Monica was able to provide a better quality roadmap to Chandler in their marriage, right? So they ignored Monica a lot, so that's why Monica had to figure her life as a girl. And she also was a fat girl in the past, so when you are fat, you are also isolated socially by many people. So all of these led her to figure out things about herself for a while. But that gap, when people were not meaningfully connected to you, when people were socially isolating you, when your family is socially not so much involved with you, is the actual fact that causes Monica to become a better quality spouse or mother for her children as well. It gives her the potential to have that now in her future life. Whether she will actually materialize it is dependent on her and the partner she chose. If she had chosen a partner who, unlike Chandler, was not ready to accept her infertility, or not ready to accept her crazy stuff, or not ready to work with her on the difficult patches of their relationship, would that relationship have worked? No. And which is why we get those bad relationships, to understand why that relationship didn't work. Like Monica wanted a child, but her Richard already had children, so Richard didn't want a child. I think that was the reason why they had broken off. I have forgotten now, it's been such a long time since I've watched Friends. But they didn't have a compatible future life path together. And here again, if there could be also another guy Monica could have dated who would have been okay with Monica's infertility issues, but not have been okay with adopting kids. At that time now, if that guy was okay with her infertility issues but not okay with adopting kids, again, would that have been a happy marriage if they had continued in such a marriage? No. So again, how you evolve with each other, apart from the love you have with each other, how you take into consideration each other's needs, is what makes a relationship actually workable, deeper, meaningful, and evolving with the time of the relationship. And with this girl and my experience, what I also realized in my mid-30s after my divorce is that first I have to have self-love, and this girl needs to realize that. Have the self-love and self-courage to understand that While it was a painful experience for her that her parents didn't have good relationship, and she hasn't found many good compatible relationships in her friendship circle and other social circle or family life, while she never saw that role model relationship, is the element of a role model relationship not present in our life? It is present. It might be present via movie stories, books, via glimpses of what a good marriage should be in the marriages of the people you already knew. But in order to materialize in your life now as a actual realistic experience, first have the self-worth to understand that you can attract that experience. You have to first let go of the fact that whatever you think is the reason why you're not attracting men, realize that that is not the reason why you're not attracting men, or not attracting men who stay long enough in your life. What you have to realize is, like, for me, I realized that the reason why there are certain men, even though I was very much able to attract boyfriends in my life, attract a partner also in my life, but I was not able to retain them in a long term relationship. Why? Because while I was able to attract people to me or convince someone to date me, if that person was not convinced in their own heart that I am the right partner for them, naturally there was a gap already present there. Secondly, if I was doing most of the input of building the relationship and they are not putting any input in building the relationship, again it creates a problem zone. Like, say Monica and Chandler, if Monica has a strong personality and I have a strong personality like Monica's, and actually I have a personality type which is very combination of Monica, Phoebe, and Rachel. I have all three people's personality types inside me, except the part of Rachel being a rich family girl. That is the only part that doesn't match with them. Many other things about these three match with me. So I'm partly like Rachel, majorly like Phoebe, and majorly like Monica. So in that aspect, where I'm able to attract people to me, or I'm able to convince people to date me, at that time the thing that is there is, if Monica puts too much effort in her relationship with Chandler and Chandler finds it, oh no, this is too much. Like, remember there was a scene where one time Monica was expecting a proposal, and or Chandler thought that Monica is expecting a proposal when Monica was actually not ready for the proposal, whereas Chandler thought she's ready. And even though he got freaked out temporarily, and in the past when he was younger he would have freaked out even more, he actually didn't get freaked out eventually in that episode, and he was ready to propose to her. But she was the one who said, let's halt it and take some time to decide on it, because she wanted to enjoy the dating phase of their life, right? So like that also things will start happening. Like, both of them have to be on the same page with each other. Now, if Monica, having said no to that proposal, if Chandler gets annoyed at her, or feels sad that she's rejecting me, or starts taking it personally, like she's behaving like some past girlfriends, then the relationship might have fallen apart. Or if Monica got freaked out that why is he proposing too soon, or she became too intense about it in rejecting the no, or something else had happened and Chandler, again, both of them took each other's perspective in the wrong way, then again it would have broken down, right? And this is the kind of dynamics that was actually playing with Ross and Rachel. Also, after Emma was born, Ross wanted to propose to Rachel, but every time he tried to propose to her, something started happening, and every time she is ready for a proposal, something else is happening to distract him. And these things were happening. Why? Because they were not ready to be in each other's lives in a way that each other needed for them to be. And you will also see Rachel never respected Ross for his profession. Ross never respected Rachel for actually Rachel is hot, he's attracted to Rachel, but he doesn't see anything beyond her attraction in his relationship with Rachel. I haven't seen anything beyond that. And Ross was actually going from women to women, only seeking attraction from women rather than a deeper level understanding developing between his relationships with those women. Or he tried. I'm not saying that he didn't try. But what was he failing at, I felt, in those relationship problems of his, was that he was trying to make things work, but he was not looking at the women from the perspective of whether they are actually truly compatible with him in many ways. Like, he was each of the people he dated actually are giving him a roadmap of what he actually needs in a relationship with a woman, but he never eventually actually got that roadmap complete, because he first, you have to realize also, right, what is the roadmap telling. Like, one of the persons who was a PhD doctor that he was dating, that roadmap was telling that he wants a intellectually, and like that there were 2-3 women he dated who liked him for his work. So he wants someone to appreciate him for his work. So if he doesn't get that appreciation from a partner, and Rachel never appreciates him for his work, so that's how it shows that Rachel is in many ways incompatible. And I'm not saying that Rachel is not capable of showing appreciation. I'm just saying that a right partner will, and you can not appreciate your partner's work in some ways as well, which is what a balanced partner is. A balanced partner will, if you do X work, they will admire some elements of what work you are doing, but they will also call you out about your work. If you want that work kind of a relationship, or a relationship where you want that your partner admires you for your work, at that time your partner should also be capable of calling you out when you're going wrong, because that is what a functional relationship is. A dysfunctional relationship seeks only a person where you are constantly getting admiration from your partner about something you like about yourself. That is a dysfunctional relationship, narcissism based relationship, and a relationship that is an ego boosting relationship. A compatible relationship will require that, yeah, my partner should admire me for my work, but also if I'm doing something wrong in my work, that the partner, even if they are not from my field, observes as a funny thing about my work, or is something that I could potentially improve about my work. If they give me those inputs, that input is also necessary for me to improve my life. So that is a better partner, functional partner, who allows you to who lets you love what you do, who lets you who admires you also possibly for what you do, but also is able to keep you in check about not becoming egotistical about what you do, not becoming overinflated in your own self-importance about what you do. And which you will see, like, the reason why in Friends all of these friends teasing each other about each other's work was very important, because those friends kept each other at the ground level. When they were teasing each other, you are able to bring the overinflation and overimportance about your work down, if you are taking your friends teasing the right way. And in Friends they showed the teasing in a very superficial manner, but because Friends also didn't actually, while there were many elements of good friendship in Friends, there are many aspects of Friends which could have evolved into much deeper friendships as well, but they didn't evolve. Why? Because the people who have created Friends, they themselves might not have evolved at that level of friendship. So that depth, that's why didn't develop in the you will see in the later years of the show, the depth of the series was gone, because they didn't bring the deeper elements of friendship also, which needs uncomfortable moments in friendship, which needs uncomfortable moments related to evolving you as a human. All of that makes a friendship actually a deeper level friendship, any relationship a deeper level relationship. And the final thing women like her and me, anyone who's heartbroken, has to realize, past relationships were giving you roadmaps of what you are seeking. Like, Ross is seeking someone to admire him for his work, appreciate him for his work, but he also has to realize that while someone is appreciating and admiring him for his work, they should also have the room to criticize him for where he is not doing things right, which is where Rachel was a good partner. She was trying to tell him when he is not doing something right, when he cheated just right after breaking off with her and slept with a girl. That was obviously not a right thing to do. If you're emotionally connected to someone, do you think you will even think about sleeping with someone else, even if your partner broke off with you? Most of the time, if you're deeply involved with someone, you will never even you will be so heartbroken at that time, you will never even imagine going and sleeping with whoever is coming in front of you. But who is capable of doing that? A narcissist might be capable of doing that. A person who is constantly seeking ego boost might be capable of doing that. And that's why I felt Ross was not a good partner, because he was a little bit of a narcissistic partner, and Rachel was also a little bit of a narcissistic partner. That's why they kept coming back to each other to boost their ego with each other. But they were not coming back together to each other to deeply evolve with each other. If they had deeply evolved, they had the potential to deeply evolve, but they didn't do it, because for them to actually deeply evolve, because they had deep love for each other, they had deep friendship also with each other, but what they didn't have was depth related to what is required to evolve a relationship into a functional partnership with each other. What is required, what do you have to let go also, because in order to have a functional partnership with each other, you have to also let go of certain things. In the end, when Monica and Chandler moved away from the city to raise their kids in a away from New York, why did they do that? Because they were now ready to shape their lives according to the lives of the kids they have now taken under their care. So they were evolving according to their circumstance. But if there are many couples who don't want to evolve like that, so those couples who don't want to evolve, don't want to move away from New York, but then also insist that they want to raise kids in New York, and then their kids become rude New Yorkers or something. Like, if you have a vision of what you want in your life, and that vision can only be completed when you move out of New York, would you do that, or would you stay in New York if that New York life will not give you the vision you are seeking? Like, if they want a home, if they want a garden, if they want a home garden, if they want kids playing around in the garden, all this is their vision. You can't get it in a New York, upstate New York high-rise building. Mostly you will not get it, right? So that's why they moved out of New York, right? So they were ready to shift their life according to their life circumstances and the future direction of where they are going in life, and they were mutually able to convince each other to go there. And for that, they also had to break their friendship group, right? So which was a sad thing for them, that they are breaking their friendship group. But this is how life also evolves, that sometimes you have to also separate from those friends who are not yet at that same stage in life as you are. So while Rachel was raising a kid in New York, and you can see the irony here, that Rachel and Ross had the chance of also moving towards that kind of life that Monica and Chandler moved towards, but they both were not ready to evolve out only of being friends with other friends, or dating other people, or pursuing their careers, or they were not thinking actually about Emma and their connection with each other. So until they think about Emma and I'm not saying they were bad parents, they were thinking about Emma, they were doing things to raise Emma in the best possible way, being a separated couple. But if they really wanted that deeper level connection with Emma, they could have taken a different route also, and then they would be the Chandler Monica like parents. Otherwise, now after marriage also, they can still end up being the parent of this girl who's saying that her parents don't have a good relationship. Because if her parents, why she doesn't have a good relationship with her parents also will be because they are also not possibly focused on her. Like, if let's say she's struggling financially, her parents never ask her, well, how are you doing? Or if she is going through a rough patch in life, that she broke off from a boyfriend, she doesn't have that kind of a parent who will call her and ask, how are you doing, or what is going on. She's also heartbroken because she doesn't have those deeper friendships also who ask her, like, how are you doing, what do you need to do because you are heartbroken, what should we do together because you are free. All those kind of friendships are not there in her life. And why? Possibly because if she's also like me in her 30s or 40s, her friends are married, her friends are busy with raising their kids, her friends do not have the time to see her loneliness. But does that mean she cannot find those deeper level friendships in some other women friends or other friends, or find a dating life for herself? She can, but she cannot look for the same dating life that has led her and many other people into bad relationship zones. In order for her to find a deeper, meaningful connection in a friendship or a relationship, she has to stretch her horizons and make it into a different horizon of friendship. I have stopped expecting. When I was living in US, I moved back to India because I was like feeling I'm not making those deeper level friendships anymore, and I was missing my family life, so I came, and missing Indian culture, so I came back to India. And while in the first 1-2 years I did experience that aspect of Indian culture, I also got again into the same state of loneliness and depression related to not having close friendships, not having deeper level friendships, not having deeper level even family life. Because when I did come back to India again, and now as an adult with more mature perspective about what a deeper relationship should mean, I realize that everyone is busy in their life. They are not seeking that deeper level relationship because they are either busy or they do indeed have some depth in their relationships with other people. So I'm not just an extra for them. So I'm an extra person. Like if I go and spend some time with them, they will be happy. But if I don't go and spend any time with them, do not make any effort in spending time with them, they would not care either way if I am there or not there in their life. I'm not saying that my absence will not be felt, but it is not going to be felt at a deeper way because they have compensated for that relationship via other relationships present in their life. So which is what naturally will cause any person who has that kind of friendship, that kind of relationship in their life, to feel lonely, feel lost. But while you're feeling lost and lonely, realize that there is a world out there. There is a reason why we are all existing currently on an earth with social media connections, on an earth where 8 billion people exist on earth, on an earth where people are easily able to travel to different countries or communicate with people across the globe via some media related means. So which also means you have the capacity right now at this time, when you don't have in your locality or in your social life or in your 30-40 years of life of existence in a particular country, any deeper meaningful connections and friendships, you can still build a deeper level connection of friendship and social relationships with a stranger from another country. That does take more deeper level trust, but it also takes, in order for you to develop that relationship with someone from another country, you may also have had to go through some bad relationship experiences as well to become wiser. That let's say you are from America and you have realized that maybe there is someone in some other continent who might be good compatible partner for me. You have realized it. Whether you will meet that person, when you will meet, how you will meet, you don't know. At that time you have to bring God into the picture. So when you have loneliness phases, it is also the time to bring God into the picture, to connect more deeply with God, because then God becomes our guide. Because if you're going to look for a partner in a different country or a deep friendship in a different country, it's like searching for needle in a haystack. But that search for needle in a haystack becomes easier when God allows you to, if you ask God, okay, show me the friends that I could potentially be friends with, God will start showing you those friends. Now it's up to you whether you want to connect with those people, or after you have connected with those people, if they don't value what you are bringing to the table, then it will not go any further. But if it happens that you connect with someone, they connect with you, and you are indeed able to take it to the next level of friendship, it will then have the potential to now develop into a deeper level friendship. It can be a friendship, it can be a social relationship, it can be even a deeper level meaningful work relationship that you can have the potential to explore, simply because of the fact that you have freer time, you have more time, you have more access to searching for such friendships online outside of your normal sphere of friendship circle, social circle, work circle. I hope it made sense, which is what I'm doing currently with my videos. The reason why I'm making these videos is because I do not have deeper level people connections in my life to have these conversations with those people. But does it mean there aren't people out there in the world who want these kind of conversations? So those are the people who are subscribing to my channel. Either they want these kind of conversations, or they want to listen to this kind of content, or they have been asking questions related to these topics that I'm discussing here. So obviously there is a percentage of population out there in the world who will appreciate what I am doing, or who needs to listen to what I am saying, but they are just simply not there in my personal life. So until I can find that in a outside of personal life, until then, how do I find those people? This is the mechanism I'm using to find those people. And that's why I genuinely mean that if you have questions, comments, please place them, so that if it can build a community of communication channel between us and between other like-minded individuals, and so that we can create a platform where people can communicate with each other. Because when you put a comment, you also, this is what I have been also doing in the last few years when I had cancer, and I'm just sitting and watching social media. I interact with strangers because I want that deep meaningful connection. Now if I'm not getting that intellectual connection with anyone in personal life, but I still crave to say something or want to express something, I've been replying to stranger posts as well, that if I find something meaningful in their post, I appreciate them about the meaningful thing in their post. If I find something that I'm learning from them and I want to learn something deeper, I will ask them questions about their post. If there's something that I can add to the content they have created, I put those feedbacks about their content that they have created as well. Because at least, I'm keeping my brains engaged. I'm a very intellectual thought oriented person, and when you are also not physically being able to do many things, thoughts and writing is the only way I was able to do something. So and by doing it, it was giving me some meaning and purpose to my life, and also helping me now understand human nature at a level where I would not have understood human nature if I was only stuck with thinking about, or being sad about all the humans in my life who don't have time to give, who are busy in their profession, who are busy in their personal life, who are doing something in their life that keeps them occupied enough to only have me as a occasional connection, right? But while for them that depth is not required, for me that depth is indeed a mandatory requirement. But in order to get to that depth with some other individual, if they are strangers, you have to cross a threshold to connect with those strangers, and that threshold can be crossed only via whatever you know best about doing, whatever you enjoy doing, whatever is your mechanism of connection or building connection with people. So whatever I have at my disposal, I have to do, and the rest that is not my part to do is something God has to do, or other people who also want that deeper level connection have to do, right? Because if you want deeper level friendships, if you want to become friends with someone at a deeper level, if someone approaches you that or if you find someone with whom you could have a deeper level connection just because you like them online, post a comment. Yeah, they might say no to you, they might reject you, but they might also accept you, they might also want to become friends with you, they might also need to know a little bit more about you via your posts, so that after knowing you for a little while, then they might become comfortable in becoming your friends. All these pathways can only open step by step, right? It can't open with a stranger. First you have to meet them. So how do you meet them if you don't even open a social media website? You have to at least open a social media website to meet someone. That is one way to know them. Second way to know them, after knowing them, yes, you can attract some creepy strangers and you can attract some good people. Now that discernment about creepy strangers and good people comes from where? It will come from your past disappointed relationships, because you would have had creepy friends also, you would have had creepy boyfriends also. So understand that when you had a disappointing relationships or a couple of broken relationships for 10-20 years of your dating life, they were all the places where you were meant to discern what is a creepy person, who is a trustworthy person, who is a person worth having friendship, deeper friendship with, who is a person who is only going to be a casual friends with me, who is a person I am comfortable understanding a little bit more. Like, let's say your future partner is meant to be a Asian, but you've never met a Asian in your life, but you start seeing social media pages of some Asian in living in US. Slowly you will become familiar with that Asian culture. Then after seeing those things, so universe will slowly be preparing you. But in order to for you to get ready to meet that person living in Asia, whom you might meet 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line, do you have to build the step by step connection. So first you might meet some Asian who lives in your city, who might come as a friend in your work group, and they might leave, but at least you now have a glimpse of some Asian in your work group. Then maybe in your gym, if you're going to the gym, maybe you join a class there, you might get an Asian teacher who's teaching you that class, Zumba or yoga class, and from there you can get a little bit more insight. Maybe your future person could be a South American or a person with mixed heritage. So maybe you have to learn about two different cultures in order to get introduced a little bit more into their culture or become comfortable with their culture. So like that, all these multi communication level experiences, social media related experiences will be happening to you in your life in order to make you comfortable with the idea of exploring outside your country friendship, outside your city friendship, outside your city dating life. And also during that time, while in 5 years time maybe you will meet someone from Asia who you might meet while traveling in Europe. It can happen like that. It can happen that while working with someone in Asia, you meet your partner who's a collaborator with your company. Or it could happen that they came to your city for a conference and you met them. Or it could happen that the common friend that you build up in the middle, someone who lives in your country part-time and lives in Asia part-time, that common friend that you build in the next few years of your life, somehow that common friend might be then related to someone that will introduce you to your future partner. So you don't know how you will meet them, but in that only you have to connect with God. In that only you have to connect with yourself also, to become self-aware. Like, I'm just giving a random scenario that you have to meet someone from Asia. It could be someone from Europe. It could be someone from Canada. It could be someone from in your own city, but you have to move from your big city to a smaller city of your state in which you are living. Or it could be someone 2 hours away from you. So expand your comfort zone, and while expanding your comfort zone, also know, I'm not saying I didn't have bad friendship experiences. I had great friendship experiences also with strangers for a while, and I've also met some bad friendship experiences as well, creepy people as well. So you get a mixed bag of experiences. So you should be ready to accept the good with the bad, because when we start accepting the good with the bad, or start understanding the higher purpose of the bad, that experience that came in our life, that is when also our evolution as a human being happens, our depth of understanding of humans happen, and that makes us more open to now having deeper relationships with someone else who has also, like, maybe you could connect. Like, let's say you had a abusive partner, and for 5 years you went through narcissistic abuse, and a person who's meant to be your future partner, they also went through some kind of abuse, maybe not narcissistic abuse but some other kind of abuse. And the reason why you will eventually end up meeting maybe 5 years down the line could be because of the abuse related factors that connected you eventually. So you never know. So keep finding your purpose in the things you love to do. What you need to pursue is pursue your own passion, pursue your own goals, pursue the things that you feel pulled towards pursuing. Relax in life. Do not put the pressure that you have to be married at a certain time to seem successful as a relationship person. Also realize that even in good relationships, good quality relationships, there will be dark patches. So maybe she did find someone in a few years back, but they broke off because of some fight. And she didn't, like how Monica and Chandler had a fight and they broke off, but then broke off meaning they just had a fight. And Chandler thought that the relationship is ending, but Monica reeled him in by telling him that no, the relationship is not ending, we will work on it. So like that, all she might need to do is get back in touch with that person who broke off with her, to ask whether there is a scope for that relationship to work. No one is asking you to beg your past broken relationship, but if there is a scope for it to work, you can call and ask whether there is a scope for it to work. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, you accept and chalk out, slowly ask God, what is the lesson I was meant to learn about that, which is what I have been doing in the last few years of my life. I have contemplated on why relationships didn't work, what is it from my end that caused it to fail, what is it from their end that causes it to fail, what is it that I can give in a relationship that can stretch me into a uncomfortable zone but doesn't make me feel disgusted or highly uncomfortable. What is it that I know I just cannot do it, how much ever someone convinces me that is what needs to be done by a girl. So things like that, like you have to understand yourself at a deeper level, understand other humans at a deeper level, then you become more and more capable of holding a deeper relationship with someone. And you have to take some deeper level efforts also sometimes, when your life purpose might be to meet people from some different culture, different place, different country, or do something with people from these different aspects of life. So become a more wholesome person, more well-rounded person. Try to inculcate more wholesomeness in your life than what your normal friends are doing, your normal colleagues and other people are doing in your life. And if anyone has questions, comments, wants to connect with me, please feel free to connect with me on my social media connections that I have kept in my descriptions. Thank you very much. Have a great day.